Can we go?
Yeah.
Oh!
Take off your coat, stay a while!
Like listening to new music? Want to know a band before they get popular? Tune into the Underbelly Hours, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. on WRSC 88.7 FM, and discover the best of local, unsigned musicians. Don't miss out on the next big thing.
That's the first time. Yeah.
Oh!
Welcome to the Underbelly Hours, everybody.
Take off your coat, stay a while!
just the O and then take off. Actually?
Yeah, can you do that?
Yeah, we're good.
Alright. What's up, everybody?
What an intro.
Hey. Well, welcoming you to the first episode of the Underbelly Hours in May. Can you believe
I was
it?
gonna say the first.
No,
what?
in this month, the merry month of May, and we got a treat for you.
The merry month of May.
We have a treat for you guys with talk with Electric Stove, who we've had on before, to talk about his Hail Starfire. I'm sorry.
Do you even know?
Do I even know? You
who
know,
we're talking to?
I do.
Hail
And,
Starfighter,
that
ladies
one.
and gents.
That one.
Please excuse our just.
Incompetent host.
Well, I guess. No. That's
Fair
fine.
enough.
That's fair.
We're talking to Electric Stove today. It's going to be a great-ass time. And before we do that, we have to give a shout-out because there's been a lot of new music releasing recently
Yeah.
that Dan and I have been diving into. Got to talk about at least some of it. So,
I don't like to dive, but
Oh.
I like to submerge, get
Okay.
used to it a little bit, and then finally make that plunge.
I see. So what have you been submerging yourself in this week, Dan? Apart from sorrows.
Hey, you're starting to know me. I feel so loved. Well, Adela, thanks for asking. On this very fine Sunday that I've had maybe 3 hours of sleep. Please pardon all my gaffes this episode and slurs. And I'm not drunk. I'm just really tired, and that's making me that tie high.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what will put me. Actually, I was gonna say pick me up, but this is more of a chill song, so
It's
it
a
actually
very chill song.
might put me just to sleep, but in a very nice, calming way, not in
Yes.
like a boring way, but a very nice chill.
Yes.
Stage Lights is a brand new song. Fuck. Stage Lights is a brand new spanking song by the one and only Iris Blue. He's a singer-songwriter from, the local scene. Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
What we usually have on this show. And he's usually a loop artist, at least in the live aspect. And he just put out a brand new song called Stage Lights. It's pretty cool, pretty chill. He might be playing something else coming up that we might be doing something with. So, just keep your eyes open and hope you like the tune. Alright, cue it up. Bye.
Stage lights fall behind, keep me home, the tempting hope. Dim eyes, they come alive, know what you want, and parents fall. Whisper. They come go, let you sink in shades of pink. Conceal and all your thoughts much too real. The way to be. Let's waste our time. Sing songs and discount love. It's crossed my mind that I'll bleed before it'll atone. time. A preacher buzz within his words, within his making turn. The choir left for wise men left, wise men. So play a fool, takes two to dance from one to room. You come across his skin, reaching your home. You once came in, to let's waste our time singing songs of discomfort.
All right, that's all cute. And the tune that I'd like to talk about, it kind of will get the energy up from this nice calm relaxation that Quinn gave us. It's a song that we talked about on the Underbelly Review, which is that 1 hour show on 103.1 FM, where it's just pretty much a playlist every week of music from the local scene. It's themed differently. This last week it was just like, I want some good vibes for May, for springtime. And people submitted, and Fuzzlove sent me this great ass song called Bump. It's off of their new release, which is Countless Wasted Days.
That's my
That's more like it, yeah. Countless Wasted Days. Fuzzlove is a band that, fun fact, almost played one of our showcases, and then they had like some sort of issues and had to pull out last minute. But
The love got too fuzzy.
The love got too fuzzy, quite simply put.
The bandwidth wasn't strong enough.
But I'm
This is what you're
so
getting,
glad,
folks.
glad that I did check out this tune. It's really great. It's called Bump, and it's just like a bumping track. It's lots of good energy. It's got that jammy element to Fuzzlove, which we love. And while Dan gets his
Bump on.
bump on, here's the song. Fuzzlove's Bump. Check it out right here.
Cocaine. Perfect.
All
Perfect. I won't feel alone.
Ready?
Oh, never alone. Yeah.
Okay.
One is the loneliest number that you ever knew. Two can be as bad as one, but the loneliest number is the number one.
All right, everybody.
One is the loneliest number one. Is the loneliest number one.
Hi, guys. Welcome back for the featured part of this episode, which will feature none other than a guest that we've had previously on the podcast, but this time he's got some new stuff in the works. He goes by Electric Stove, but he plays the guitar, and let's... I don't know why I said that.
I mean,
Let's just
I'm
get
sure
on
he
with
could
it.
play the electric stove. Is that what you were leading into?
Potentially.
He's
Actually,
called Electric
Steve.
Stove, but plays the electric guitar. I seen that there was a...
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do, but then it kind of fell apart. In any case, hello, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I won't lie. I have had a few what do you call them? Internal decorators. I'm blanking with I'm all sorts of brain mush, but I've gotten people liking my Instagram because I've tagged Electric Stove on there. People who are looking for actual electric stoves in their kitchen. So,
Interior
so
designers are
I've
hitting you
gotten
up.
all sorts of things from my name, and yeah.
Nice.
It's all good.
All right. Well, if anybody wants to find out the reason behind why Electric Stove is named Electric Stove, we could ask you to go ahead and check out the first episode that we have with this fabulous musician. And a few other fun tidbits from that episode you can find out back there. But for today, since you have been on the show before, we'll skip that question and go right into the icebreaker, which I think last time we had him do Would You Band. So today, we're going to have you do a different game called the Synthesis
Okay.
game. Is that okay, Jay?
Yeah, no.
Yeah?
At first I thought you were going into the 5-second speed round, but then
But
a lot of your stuff, at least what I listened to, I went back to Hail Starfighter. A lot of it's instrumental. It
Yes.
is instrumental, so I feel like, I don't know, that wouldn't be the best.
I think Synthesis would be the best one for now for him.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and try that game out. Steve, just a quick explanation of the rules. We're going to ask you 3 different questions that approach your music from a non-musical perspective. All right?
Cool.
And then at the end of these 3 questions, we shall ask the listeners to have all of the imagery in their brain of your answers to these questions while we play them, the first track of the evening. Does that sound fun to you, Steve? Are you ready to play?
I think I am. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Question number 1. Steve, so your name is Electric Stove, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
But I'm curious, if you had to compare your music to any other sort of kitchen appliance, what would it be and why?
Ooh. I would say my first inclination is like a KitchenAid mixer because it's mixing stuff, but that sounds a bit like, that's a little bit too like I do everything myself to like save myself money, so like a KitchenAid mixer, that's like a little bougie, a little pricey. So I would say let's go with a hand mixer, like it's a bunch of stuff mixed together, but hopefully by the end of the mixing it tastes good and it's what you wanted at the end. But it didn't cost you a lot because, you're kind of doing it yourself. You're not just setting and forgetting. You're doing it yourself. You're involved in the whole process. So I'd say a hand mixer, you know what I mean?
Oh, I like that answer, actually. Very detailed, Steve. Nice. All right, so
I put a lot of thought into appliances, let me tell you.
All right, so the answer to question number 1 is hand mixer. Question number 2, throwing it over to you.
All right, we're going to go to the literary world. If your music had to be categorized as a genre of book, those things with words in them.
Yeah, that you read sometimes, every once in a while.
Everyone reads.
Yeah.
Still.
what genre of book would it be? You know, you got your horror, you got your thriller, you got your mystery,
realistic
romance, self-help. You know, if you just need a pick-me-up.
That's a tough one. I would say it's like I would consider it, you know, like if I could like throw authors, like be 50% Dr. Seuss, so like surrealist kids book, I guess, like Dr. Seuss, you know, like that wild thing, and then whatever you would consider Herman Hesse. I feel like those are two authors that come into my head, which completely different things. I guess children's fiction and adult psychological fiction. You know, the great two genres that just meld together, like I have no idea, like apple pie and ice cream.
Children's fiction and adult psychological. Okay.
I feel like there's a whole therapy session to explain that.
That describes me completely. Like, it's just like, I don't want to not be a kid who loves Dr. Seuss, but I also love Sid Hartha. Get off of it.
Are we gonna get a soft ban because you mentioned Dr. Seuss?
I don't think it's as bad as Disney. Oh shit! Wait.
The good, like the ones that are not awful to read nowadays. The ones that are, you know. Yeah.
I love those old ones, man. Just give me all the good, pure, unadulterated, sign of the times. You know.
I used to love when I would go to my grandparents. I don't know if this is one of the books that you know that now if I went back to it I would say I don't know, what was I thinking, but Happy Birthday to You, which is like, I don't think it's one of the
Strange
mainstream ones. We used to read McGilligan's Pool, which is a little bit iffy nowadays. Not great look. Not a great look nowadays, but Happy Birthday to You was one of the ones that was just like strange as heck, you know, like not it was just out there. A child following a weird supernatural thing through a weird world, and it hit me hard. I was like, yeah, that's great. That's I'm all about that when I was a kid, and I apologize if that's not a good one. I haven't read that book in, good Lord, like over 20 years. So hopefully it's not one that you can't read. That's
I hope it is.
Bit, you know.
Let's get controversial. I'm all for standing up for. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I was
gonna say stand up for everything, but I'm like, that's a slippery slope.
I am 100% for the removing things that are a little bit. I'm behind the Seuss estate removing the books that they did. I should say that, but those books were something. Or like I would say maybe a better author would be like a Roald Dahl or something. You know, something that's fantastical elements.
Still kind of crazy though, out there, weird imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
So like children's fantastical, but also adult psychological. So like a therapy session book, kind of.
Yeah. Like Roald Dahl meets Philip K. Dick. How about that? Like that's another one. Like those are the two authors I feel like hit the same notes as I'm thinking of.
All right. Question number 3. Final question here.
Okay.
Well, we hit the kitchen appliances. We hit the literary references. Let's go over to the bar. If your music was a drink. And I'm not talking coffee here. I'm talking a drink. What kind of drink would it be and why?
Pepto-Bismol.
You take a quick drink.
Pepto-Bismol.
You know what I would think? You know, funny thing is like.
There's Uncle Tony hitting the NyQuil again.
Oh shit.
I'm trying to think of there's a drink that comes to mind or I kind of have two answers, because like one that comes to mind is like a drink from Intelligentsia, which isn't like is a non-alcoholic drink, which I had. Lord, it was like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago now. They have like the summer drink, and I had it. I think it was like I don't live anywhere near Old Town, but like it's like Old Town downtown near Chicago, and they had this drink that was like tonic, cold brew, like lime juice, and I forget what else. And it was this like nonsense coffee drink that was like all different. It's an amalgam of just nonsense. And I had it, and I was like, oh, I gotta order it because it's a summertime refreshing drink. And I had it, and I took a sip. I'm like, the first second you're like, oh my god, what have I done? And then it hits you, and the rest of the flavors hit, and you're like, it actually works. So I would say that would be one of the drinks that I would compare myself to, and
Coffee
I forget.
wine.
I could not even remember. Even if you asked me, I could if you paid me $1 million, I couldn't remember what the name of the drink was. It's probably summer coffee tonic or something. But
Well, probably works
sounds
though.
great.
That sounds like with all the other stuff you were describing, that sounds pretty accurate.
Sounds like a drink I would, take out my trusty dusty shooter of Jameson and
Just put because why not just add
Because why not?
something else
I mean-
into the mix?
Just put like a little flash of something else
Yeah.
in, because I love having a drink while I'm making my music, and but my like I
Also do
love
that with
I
every
love
drink,
having
though.
like whiskey, I love having a beer, but like
water.
when it comes down to it, that was what that was the first thing that came to mind.
All right, the mystery coffee lime
Kool-Aid.
summer
I don't
tonic
even know if
drink.
it's at every location, but it was really good. So Intelligentsia, get on that.
All right. So to recap our little game, the answer to what would your kitchen appliance be? What would your music be as a kitchen appliance that is not an electric stove? Was a hand mixer. Number 2. What was the question again for number 2?
No, I think he just said that
Oh,
he
literary-
really loves old Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
That's all I got from that.
We got the Dr. Seuss and also the adult psychological fiction. And number 3, if electric stoves music was a drink, it would be coffee lime summertime drink thing from Intelligentsia. All right, think about all those things. Think of all those things in your brain. Picture them. Taste them. Think about them.
Read them.
Read them. And we're going to play our first track of the evening tonight by Electric Stove, which is going to be off of his new project that he's releasing. You want to maybe just start with the overture, since that's what we got here?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Overture by Electric Stove on...
The Underbelly Hours. Oh no, my phone.
What was that? What was
You're listening to the Underbelly Hours in my basement, where I just dropped my phone on the floor.
All right, that's going in the final part. That needs to be in the final
Oh no,
part.
my phone.
Oh, my phone.
that was a great tune that we just heard by Electric Stove, coming off of your new album, which is something that you're kind of here to talk about today. Really excited because your last one was a concept album. And in fact, just for the folks who are listening to you for the first time and who haven't listened to the old episode with you, which you should listen to the first episode with Steve, but for those who haven't, what is, I guess, a summary of your first album that you released, or the one that we talked about, rather, the spaceship kind of...
Hail Starfire.
Hail Starfire, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, so, you know, I haven't always been in Chicago, and, you know, my first band was, you know, my first real band was a band called Something Keen out of Columbus, Ohio, and we had a bunch of songs, and, you know, a lot of ideas, like, I wrote a lot of songs for that, and I had a lot of ideas. And then I moved out to Chicago and started my solo project. And I guess the best way to put it is like I turned those songs, the original ideas I had for the songs, I kind of turned it to indie rock numbers. I kind of reverted them back into the initial ideas that I had, and turned it into like a really traditional progressive rock album. And it is 100% DIY. Like, I mixed the thing, I mastered the thing to its own, like, would love to have it remixed and remastered because, you know, it's its own thing. But it is like, you know, it's like The Last Starfighter meets like a Yes album. If you had to put something to it, it's just I think the best way to describe it all is like escapism in musical form, because, you know, I love all types of music, and I think I think something that makes music special to me, because I grew up in like the middle of Ohio, and you know, Ohio, I love Ohio.
It's a real bumping place.
It's not the most interesting of states. So, you know, like I think I said it the first time I was on. It was like, you know, I learned to play music in my parents' basement because, like, I wasn't a partier. You know, I was just a nerdy kid who loved listening to Rush in my parents' basement and playing along to those playing along to those songs. So I think the best way to describe it is like a kid from the central Ohio who, well, you know, it's flat, corn and everywhere, who wanted to see mountains and then wrote an album about like being in space. And I think that's the best way to describe it. And I think that you know, I think the next album, you know, will progress from there. You know, this idea of grandiose, you know, escapism that's inspired by Yes, Rush, and like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Interesting mix there.
Well, the first song even that you sent us is called Overture, so that already the name evokes this kind of grandiose composition, the overture being kind of like the introduction to this big, massive piece. Is that what you're kind of planning? You're up in the grandiosity for this next album?
Yeah. I think the tough thing.
It could be now grandiosity.
I made it an adjective or an adverb.
The same thing. Yeah, grandiosity. Yeah, I'm totally tracking. Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I think I'm a writer by profession, and I would have said that. Yeah, heck yeah, that's a word. I think it is that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's the initial name I've given to the track, and I don't know if it's you know, in the end gonna be the name of the track, but there's a lot of like audio cues in that first song that are gonna be like throughout the album and whatnot, and it's an album that, like, I was thinking about today. I'm like, how am I gonna actually talk about this album? And it's it's an undertaking. I feel like the first album really came together pretty quickly, but I was already by the end of that album, and I think I released it was 2018 when we talked the first time. I think
yeah.
this album, I've been writing this album since then, and a number of things have come into play and kind of put a kibosh on like the expediting through it. But I think I don't know. I think that the next album is going to be kind of a progression upon that. And
so do you have like an idea of a story in mind at all for this one, or like a vague?
A little bit.
Like
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's a tough thing because it is like I write the music first. Like my songwriting process is stupid, and it's like I've written these two songs, and then the rest of the songs are planned out and written, but not completed. Like the first two, like I do song by song by song. It's I think in the traditional recording sense, you'd record like you do all the scratch tracks, and then you'd record drums, and then whatever up after that. But like when I record it, like I'll just record guitars and whatever nonsense goes on after that, and I'll build the songs out after that. And if I was recording in an actual studio, I'd be wasting money and I'd be more in depth than I am now writing these songs. It's just nonsense. But I think the story wise, it's sort of fallen together, and I think this time around, like the first album was about just complete, fantastical, starfighter gets sucked through a portal, fights an evil being on a planet, and then victory song at the end. And this album is taking place on Earth this time, but it still has the fantastical elements, and I think it's a little bit more about I think it's more about self. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a little bit silly, but a little bit more about self-actualization and like self-realization and kind of finding yourself as you're just charging towards something that may seem a little bit nonsensical at first. So it's a story that I still need to write, but since like the inception of the the songs, I think it's gonna come together. I've had an idea from the beginning, and it's all about charging towards a mountain and what you find on that mountain, and whether or not you like what you find there. You're gonna get through it, and I think that's what ultimately the album is about.
Yeah, that doesn't sound silly to me.
Not complete nonsense, what I just said.
No, don't doubt your.
That
dude,
sounds
that
like
sounds good.
Yeah, sounds like the making of a great hero's journey.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Are you planning on, like we said, you're up in the grandiosity scale? Are you, with this time around, exploring any extra instrumentation than you previously did with the last album? Or are you adding any other elements like that?
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, Steve is a very electric guitar based dude, as you can tell in the background with all of his electric guitars.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think this album is, if we're being honest, it's going to be, at least what I've written so far, has been, to say the least, it's been an undertaking. And in the second song I sent you all, I think it was the first song that my best friend plays solo on it, and it's the first guitar solo on it. It's a fuzzed out guitar solo on it, and I think that same track has the first time I've ever done a synth solo on a song, and I think there's a lot more tracks. As I'm piecing together everything. The first album was a lot of guitars, a lot of drums. It's a lot of layers of guitars, and this one has, I think, each track has, layers of synths, layers of, keys, and, you got organs. I have a lot, I have implemented, what's it called? The Obi-Wan, the big 80s organ. So you got those Blade Runner sounds, those big sweeping the sounds in it. And I think there's a lot more to it, which has added a lot more to the stress of actually figuring out what goes with what is gonna work, in the end. And it's really cool, and I really like it, and I hate myself for making it more complicated. But I think in the end it's gonna actually benefit from me just making it hard on myself.
Yeah. I think sometimes, I just want to touch on something that you just brought up at the end there. It is worthwhile to push yourself through a song. If you have a song idea and you're tempted to end it a certain way, sometimes it's worth it to sit on it a little bit and think, how else can I expand this? What else can I add to it? Even if it does end up putting a lot more stress, a lot more work on it, you can find out interesting, cool jams that, you never would have thought of if you just kept to your initial kind of comfort level, your initial comfort zone. So I think, don't put yourself down for experimenting and trying new things and adding more layers, right, to the story that you're trying to build.
He's an artist. It's part of the process.
Yeah, it's
you gotta
part
put
of the
yourself
process.
down.
Well, I was going to say to explore, not to put yourself down, but...
I need to
oh, man. Oh, that's a whole nother... We should talk about that at some point, whether or not artists are more prone to... Anyway. Where I'm going with this right now, though, is, so, you're adding much more, your synthesizers, your keys, all this other stuff, the grandiosity's coming up. But I'm curious,
Wait, hold on.
Go.
What's that song called?
The song?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the song that he sent us. The
Right.
Mountain, I believe.
We should just play that song right now.
Oh, and then have
And then
a talk. Oh,
yeah.
That makes sense. y'all.
Right.
That makes sense.
I can break down some stuff on that.
I'm the sleep deprived one here.
All right, y'all. Here is The Mountain by Electric Stove on
The Underbelly Hours coming at you from my basement. I don't know why I did that voice.
Welcome to MTV.
Welcome to MTV Cribs. On this episode,
We're in a basement, guys.
we're back in Dan's basement to film another episode of the Underbelly Hours.
Oh, damn.
Let me take you around my crib.
Yeah. Here's our black fabric.
Oh, I have black fabric behind these the curtains or blinds behind me. I got blackout.
Nice.
I don't even know what you would call it. Yeah.
All right. So that track we just heard was "The Mountain." Again, new song that's gonna be featured on the next big album that Electric Stove is gonna drop. And we're talking about this idea of like building up grandiosity. That's such a cool word. Building up,
You're welcome.
grandiosity, making something a little bit more epic. I kind of want to ask the question regarding just your decision to pursue instrumental music. Will this album be still instrumental music? And if so, why continue down the instrumental music route rather than try to add vocals? Because you seem to me to be a very story-driven person.
Primarily so. There was some vocals on Hailstar Fire.
There's a few.
There's one track.
Yeah.
Right. But you're primarily, musically, you're primarily instrumental influence. But when you talk about your music, you often talk about storytelling elements and like this big narration. So if this next album is going to be mostly instrumental still, why do you continue to choose that path of no vocals or no major vocals, I suppose?
Yeah.
What about
No,
minor
that's a
vocals?
great question.
What about
Great,
diminished
great.
vocals?
Okay.
And I would say like the thing that scares me about finishing this album the most is the fact that I've written a bunch of songs that I wrote like a bunch of melodies that I really like, and I know that they need vocals over top.
Oh.
And this album's gonna have, I think the first two songs are gonna be completely instrumental, and most honestly, like it's gonna be like 70-30 split of like it's gonna be mostly instrumental, but I think that there's gonna be a good bit of lyrical stuff, and I'm a writer by profession, and I think I'm at least halfway decent at writing lyrics, but the tough part is writing music, and I can create melodies, but can I actually like sing over top of them? And there's the songs that we played tonight are they are instrumental songs, but the songs that those are the first two songs on the album. That's cemented in. Those are the first two songs. And then there's going to be like a 2-song split that's going to be the first half of it's going to be an acoustic song that's going to have lyrics over top of it, and I have no idea how I'm going to make those sound good. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm going to take inspiration off of Les Claypool and John Lennon's son's project, the Lennon Claypool Extravaganza. I forget what their name is. But like something like that, I feel like it's going to be weird. And then after those two songs, the album's going to have pretty much a 25-minute, like, just, it could, who would I be if I was a prog rock artist and didn't have a 20-plus minute song that's broken up into different parts and all that kind of stuff?
Sure.
And I'm still working it out and whatnot. And
so is the hesitancy towards vocals mostly because of a lack of confidence in your own vocal abilities, or is it also like a choice to, I don't know, not include as many like spelled out narration parts, because when you have lyrics, the story's being told to you. I mean, it can still be a poetic story, but you have more of a story than if something's instrumental. That's a lot more up to the artist's, like the listener's interpretation of it. I'm just
for
trying.
sure.
I'm just curious. Yeah.
No. That's an awesome question. Yeah, I think I was thinking about it today because I knew the first album was mostly instrumental, and this one is not going to be. And I think it is because I come from a family of singers, and I'm the one who didn't sing. I'm the one who went into instruments.
Oh no.
And I think I am scared, and I think I can sing, but a lot of the music that I grew up listening to is, I love Rush, and that I grew up. My vocal lessons from Rush and Ben Folds, and they higher pitched kind of stuff, and then even Genesis, proggy stuff where it is vocally processed and whatnot. So it is a tough thing, and I think I'm not an imposing personality. When I perform, it is I hope you like me. It's not like I'm gonna make you like me, and I think that's to detriment to my own performance style, and I think that it hurts me ultimately. But I think going into this album, I think knowing what I've kind of that self-actualization of what I need to do vocally, and I need to really push it and not be scared of myself. I think it is why this album is taking a little bit longer, and I think it is something that is to be overcome. And I hope ultimately it makes the album better, that I'm able to overcome the fears of the things holding back these songs that are taking a while is me not wanting to sing over top of them. And I have melodies, I have everything. It's just me just really not wanting to record vocals. So I think once I get past that, it's gonna be kind of snowball effect. It's gonna just start tumbling downhill, and hopefully it's gonna just come out and be fast and be finished.
You know what Shia would say, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what Shia LaBeouf would say to that, Steve?
Oh, no,
just
no,
do it, right? Just do it. You gotta just do it. And once I think you're totally right. Once you get over that once you first hear your voice on a track, you're probably gonna hate it. But then if you just keep going, it will snowball, and you will be able to ultimately have a better product because you're able to get over that fear. And it's cool. That's part of you're kind of having your own journey of self-actualization while writing an album about self-actualization.
Right.
It's
I think a big part of that too is, my other band, me and my buddy are in a band called Bird Culture, and it's like hard rock, short 4-minute song, very compressed kind of stuff, and I do vocals, and the last song we put out I was howling like I was in Metallica, I got in there, dug into it, and I just need to get over it's something for me. I need to get over the being alone recording. I've gotten over it, recording the guitars and everything, drum parts and whatnot. I think vocals are the last part. I think those were the weakest part of my last album. And I think the next time it's going to be, pushing that, and I just want to make sure that I get there,
Is that drive to overcome what you feel is like a weak link in your arsenal? Is that what is compelling you to do all the vocals yourself and overcome that? I was just curious. I feel like a lot of guitarists that write the majority of the music like this, big grandiose themes, grandiosity, usually will pass off their vocal ideas to just another singer. They won't even attempt. They're just I'm not the singer. Just these are my ideas. You make it sound pretty.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think my big problem, I wouldn't have a problem handing it off at all. I think my problem is that my writing process, the same reason why I would have trouble coming into a studio and like making it happen is that it is kind of spur of the moment. Like I will, like last album it was a lot of repurposing old songs I had sung in my last band, and this or when like I mentioned my other band Bird Cultured, like come up with the melody, come up with the lyrics, and like spur of the moment kind of stuff. It's very quick and whatnot. And when it comes to this, it is. I don't know if it'll be finalized until it is actually me setting up in wherever I set up. Usually it's my closet. Hopefully this time I just got vaccinated. They got my second shot, and hopefully I can go somewhere where I can just belt out without making my neighbors all angry and whatnot. But I think it is going to be up to the minute, like figuring out of the melodies and what I really really want. So yeah, I think it's gonna come together. I'm gonna force myself to, because all of me talking about my music, me writing my music is just me being completely terrified of like being in front of people. Like I'm not a great performer, but I love making music and I love music, and I think that's what makes my music, at least somewhat good. Is just being terrified and putting that out there, and I think that comes through. Hopefully.
No, it's so important for people to. A lot of people get passionate about music, and a lot of people are terrified to even make that first step, I think, in releasing their own music. So it's good to do that. And if that's you, listening to this right now, you write music.
Do it.
But you're scared of releasing it. Just do it. Yeah, seriously.
Do it.
Because oh my god. Because we should if people don't like it, whatever, that's their issue. If a lot of people don't like it, let's say everyone doesn't like it, then at least you'll get some sort of criticism and you'll know where to go. Like, oh, everyone hates this? Maybe I should do something different. A few people hate it, you're always going to have haters, right? But no matter what, it's going to force you to become better in your own style. So I had a couple people actually reach out to me recently to talk about this in particular, outside of the Underbelly hours, like just they're really scared to release their own music. And I'm just like, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. There's no reason not to. Really.
Shia LaBeouf it.
Shia LaBeouf it. That's right.
It's funny because you take out the la part and it means something completely different.
Oh my god.
There it is.
Oh boy. All right. Out of curiosity though too, Steve. So you've name dropped Rush a couple times and Yes a couple times. But I'm
phenomenal bands.
Yes, great bands.
Also up there with Pursuits of Grandiosity.
How
many times can we fit that word into this episode?
We're gonna get it as many times as we can.
There we go. What about like specific guitarists for you? Do you have any people apart from the bands Rush and Yes? Do you have any particular guitarists that you look to and you're like, damn, I want to be them. I want to do what they're doing.
Kurt
one
Cobain.
day.
Right. Yeah. I would say, okay, so like when it comes to
Nick Jonas.
When it comes
to guitar heroes and all that, like a lot of my like obscure heroes are like Andrew Latimer of Camel is probably like my number one, and then if you've ever heard the song Hocus Pocus by Focus, one of my favorite songs of all time. I apologize if you don't pronounce it this way, but Jan Ackerman, one of my favorite guitarists. But I'd say like some of my favorite albums that are coming out right now that are really like pushing me personally are, I actually have a Russian Circles t-shirt on right now. The shout out Chicago rock, Coyote Man, Southside metal instrumental rock band that's similar kind of vibes and stuff like that. I think right now the bands that are really, really inspiring me because, because I'm writing all these compositions that are more than just guitar. I think a real huge inspiration for me right now is King Buffalo and Elder, which are big stoner rock bands. You could call them metal, kind of. But big productions, big sounds, like not that like many members, but like the productions, it's like a large sweeping scale kind of things that are coming out of them, and it's really inspirational because they're not getting like mainstream attention. They're not getting like the attention that a Rush really got back in the day, but they're doing their thing, and I feel like those kind of bands wouldn't get this big of an audience without the internet and whatnot, and those bands are really what's pushing me. Like if they can find an audience, they're obviously they're also or until recently they were able to tour and whatnot and like push themselves, but like without the internet, like you don't these really, really intricate compositions with really cool modern thinking behind them wouldn't exist. Oh, and another band that I really, really like from Chicago too is that has actually inspired that second track with the Mountain, which may or may not change titles. I have no idea yet. But a big Chicago band that inspired that was the Huntsmen.
The Huntsmen?
Which, yeah, they're I don't even know how to explain. Like, they have vocals like like a yes, but also they'll also have screams. They'll also have like there'll be double bass parts, and the drums and whatnot. They're amazing. I think their bassist is also in the band Royale, if you know them, also out of Chicago. I think which has a lot of members out of Chicago Music Exchange. They all work and whatnot. But
nice.
But yeah, the Huntsmen, they released an album. They released a comic book alongside the album, and it's an amazing, amazing experience. And like there's one song I at least interpreted, or at least I think they did electric guitars alongside acoustic to start one of their songs, and I was like, something clicked, and I was like, I need to do that in my song. So the intro, like the clean part of that song, The Mountain, was, dirty, like a P90 pickup guitar alongside of a, direct plug-in acoustic guitar at the same time. And
that's
really really, I don't know, you got a really dirty sound, but you also get this clean sound, and it just melds together great. So,
I just want to confirm before I follow the wrong band. Huntsman.Doom, Chicago Americana metal?
I think so.
Bro, hell yes. Okay, looking this up for sure
great.
after the show.
They released a bunch of like live videos on YouTube too, and they are amazing. Like their last album,
cool.
which I think came out in, I can't remember, 2019, 2020. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. They are great. Yeah.
All right. Cool. In which case, I almost want to. Do you want to just like drop a song from Huntsman into this part of the show?
Sure. Or
Just-
release
just-
a
I'd say do
snippet.
their opening
let's
track
do it.
off their.
What should we do?
I would say do the opening track off their latest album.
Okay.
I can't remember what the name of the track is.
All right. Which will be?
I'm getting right out.
Yeah, Ride Out. Is that the?
Yeah, Right Out.
All
Out.
right.
I couldn't remember that for the life of me.
Cool.
That song is amazing.
Well, now, super excited. Let's throw this in here. You're listening to a band that Steve from Electric Stove really likes. They're called the Huntsmen. This is called Ride Out.
You're listening to the Underbelly in my basement.
Boo! song goes in the podcast. Okay, nice. Cool beans. So, Steve, lots of stuff coming up for you. Super exciting to hear about. Do you have, it sounds like a lot of this is still in the works. Do you have an anticipated time frame for this album yet? And if not, what are some other things that you have going on that maybe listeners can check out or start to, I don't know, look forward to?
Right on. Yeah, I was thinking about that because I knew that question would come up today. And I'm hoping by the end of the summer this album will be completely recorded. I think that's the pressure I'm putting on myself because, you know, I've had these songs started writing before, you know, since the last album, and it's 2021 and here we are. I think by the end of the summer I want to have it recorded. I want to have the story written out because I want to last time I kind of wrote a short story along with it, and with this album I would like a longer one, and the next album, which I've actually already started putting songs to, is going to be based off of I wrote a book that never got picked up, so I'm hoping to put that out all together after this. So I'm hoping I'm going to throw that all together. So the projects I'm working on right now, Bird Culture, my other band, we've already released 2 songs that are just really hard rocky, stoner rocky kind of stuff, and we're gonna release either EP or LP. Hopefully we get the songs recorded this year. We'll figure it out. But it's birdculture.bandcamp, whatever, you know. But we're also because of COVID, me and my bandmate Jason, Bird Culture, we started streaming on Twitch, so we've been doing video games on there, promoting our music through that, my music, both of our music through that. So yeah, Bird Culture is another, outlet that worth looking into. But yeah, I'd say this time around, I think the thing that's going to really push the timeline of the album is going to be mixing and mastering, because I'm not doing that myself this time. So nice. I'm definitely outsourcing the mixing, because last time it was just, it took everything out of me, and I did the best, for tonight. These are I want a disclaimer, these are very rough mixes, and those are the best. This is as good as I can make these songs sound, and they will sound better once they come out on the album. So
sounds cool. Yeah, and actually really quick, because you mentioned Twitch, and I'm about to be on someone else's Twitch stream next week.
Nice.
Who started Chicago musician, started streaming on Twitch because of the pandemic, is ending up making a really good amount of money doing it, because it's, just replacing gigging essentially. I'm curious, what has your experience been with Twitch? Because I know, seems to be new ground for musicians. I don't know a whole lot of people who are doing it, but the ones who are saying that it's fun and really worth it. What has your experience been with Twitch?
Yeah, I think, me and my bandmate are fortunate enough to have jobs outside of music and whatnot. But I think we do a lot of retro game streaming. The last game I streamed was from PlayStation 1. It was game released 30 years ago.
Which one?
Which one?
And, the last game I streamed was Rayman 1. There's been a lot since then. But the original Rayman, on PlayStation, it came out on the Atari Jaguar.
Nice.
A whole lot of nonsense.
Oh my
but
God.
I think the first game we streamed was a game that came out in 91. It was King's Quest 6. And we like the retro community a lot, because it is a little bit, it's not not taking any other community down or whatnot, but we found that like the older games, it's a lot of people our age group, a little bit older who experience it, and a lot of people who are younger as well, but like a lot of people are super chill, just want to watch someone play a game and whatnot. It's not a lot of pressure. And we got inspired by Canadian streamers who are musicians as well. There's a ton of Canadian musicians who are streaming now. Like the guy who really pushed us into is a guy named Scuba Sol, who's out of Toronto. Contra with 4 A's. Nova Kate.
Contra.
And like these people out of Canada who are like, they're like, okay, we can't work. And Canada really supported people during the pandemic, so they're like, okay, I don't have anything else going on, I'm going to push this, and like got a huge following, and it's like really nice people, like really funny people, really, a really supportive community, and we've kind of molded ourselves in there, like forced ourselves in there, and it's been a great experience. We aren't making a ton of money off of it, but there are people who are able to sustain themselves, because the people who are streaming day after day after day, like every day, those are the people who are making the money. I shouldn't say the money.
Right, making something.
Who can make a living during this time? And it's so tough. And we'll stream 2-3 times a week. But those are the people who really inspired us. So
cool.
Very cool.
All right. Well then. Everyone, go follow Electric Stove and also Bird Culture.
Do it.
For some reason, I just want to make sure I'm saying the name right. Bird Culture. For some reason, my brain.
It's we were not to say that we're. It's a Rick and Morty reference, and we're not. That's a community that has its own set of rules, and we're not trying to be a part of them, but. Yeah, it was Bird Culture, right. Birds in culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Go follow both of those projects. Check it out. Check out their Twitch streams as well if you're a Twitcher. And be on the lookout for new music by hopefully the end of the summer.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, dude. Well, it was a blast talking to you, Steve. Nice to see you.
Again.
Nice to see your nice guitar collection as well. Actually, before we go, one last question. Do you have a favorite guitar? I know it's an awful question, but I'm going to throw it at you. Do you have a favorite guitar?
All right. So, it's tough because I assume this is going to be both on like video and audio medium kind of thing. So
you have 10 more seconds.
10 more seconds. The last guitar I got is one of my like bucket list guitars. I traded away another guitar for it, and is a Yamaha SG knockoff from the 80s that was owned by Bill Kelleher from Mastodon. And my favorite guitar of all time is my Geddy Lee jazz bass from 2008 that I use on a ton of my Bird Culture songs. So
nice.
If I had to choose, those are the two.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, and if you like this kind of stuff, if you like finding out more about local musicians, interviews, occasional talk about the music industry, and all sorts of other fun stuff, go follow us, Underbelly Hours.
I swear I'm not this tired every episode.
No. You have a good reason to be this tired, though, but the Underbelly Hours...
Slaying dragons and stuff.
That's true, yeah,
MBD.
What are you gonna do? Instagram, we're on Facebook, we are on YouTube's now. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's brand new. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Ox Audio. Thank you, Ox Audio, for helping us get all this stuff out in the world. We do have a TikTok. It's kind of just existing right now, but maybe if you're on TikTok, you can go follow it. And
I feel that.
Yeah, it's been another episode. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Dan's mad at me. You're Dan.
And you're Adela.
This has been another episode of the Underbelly Hours.
In my basement.
Bye. Bye. Are you tired of listening to the same bands over and over again?
Over and over.
Stop listening to what mainstream media chooses for you
You filthy casual.
and try something new. Tune in to the Underbelly Hours every Sunday night at 6 p.m.
on WRSE 88.7 FM.
for exclusive interviews, unreleased content, and more from the depths of Chicago's underground. I'm Adela.
I'm Dan.
Take off your coat and stay a while.
Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or anywhere you stream your podcast, thanks to Ox Audio, a Chicago-based podcasting platform.